if you guys like me, y'all been seeing on your timeline lately uh, things about this 50-year-old girl body decomposed in this very popular streamer singer's vehicle. Uh, in an impound shop, somebody found this girl's body parts in the singer's Tesla. Some guy named David. I never heard of this guy. I didn't hear about him until now. And so I was talking to my wife about it. She was like playing the song that he's popular for from like, yeah, you should know who this is. I'm like, no, I don't know what that is. I guess because I am 35 years old. But there's so much going on with this situation. It's just like, what in the world? Uh, why have they not arrested this guy? So today we're gonna do a quick video. We're gonna watch some couple videos surrounding the facts, and we're gonna go through all that. And then I'll explain why I believe they have not arrested this guy or even made him a uh, one of the main people they're focused on for the murder. I'm sure they are making him one of the people who probably did the murder, but why he's not being arrested. We're gonna watch the videos to get the facts of the situation. I'm gonna comment on these videos, but we're gonna answer that question. But let's see if we can find a video to show us what's going on. So let's gonna start with this one first.
Who was the singer linked to a shocking discovery of a body in a Tesla? Human remains were discovered in the front truck of a Tesla, registered to David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, on September 8th. Just over 1 week later, the Los Angeles Medical Examiner's Office identified the remains as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, who was reported missing April 5th, 2000.
Like, why are you dealing with a 15-year-old at that time, 13-year-old? He was dealing with her anyway. He's 20 now, so he had to be like 17, 18. And so I just really try to preach to my kids, look, guys, once you get over 16, do not fool with anybody under 16, okay? Especially when you get over 18, definitely don't fool with anybody under 16. But I don't know why this guy was doing that. Maybe he thought it was okay.
2024, according to records from the medical examiner's office obtained by E! News. While her date of death was listed as September 8th, the day her body was discovered, authorities suspect her body had been in the car for some time, as it was, quote, severely decomposed. David is currently on a tour throughout North America and Europe for his debut album, Withered. He hasn't spoken directly to the investigation, but a spokesperson for the 20-year-old confirmed to NBC News he had been informed about what's happened. And although he is still out on tour, he is fully cooperating with the authorities. E! News has reached out to David's rep for additional comment, but has not.
I have a question from the younger generation. I mean, why are y'all painting y'all nails now? I'm just an old 35-year-old lawyer. Hey, it wasn't too many men of my generation doing that, but hey, it's a young thing. It's a generation gap, I guess. I can think of a couple people who may have did in my generation on TV, but not in person.
Yet heard back. The singer's career took off within the last few years, after he started to create his own music to score Fortnite videos he made for YouTube. He eventually moved to TikTok, where many of his songs went viral. Some of his early releases include Romantic Homicide and Here With Me. Just 5 days before Celeste's body was
Romantic homicide. It's just crazy that this situation has happened. He made music called Romantic Homicide.
discovered in his car. Fortnite shared David had written the very first official anthem for the game, a song called Locked and Loaded.
Locked and Loaded from Fortnite. It's just like, everybody makes music about shooting people, but Romantic Homicide is a bit different. All right, let's check out another video when we get more facts about the situation and what is going on. I can tell you this from the little research I've done preparing for this video and my timeline on Facebook, which first put this on my radar. He has canceled his tour, which I think was the right thing to do. And he has said he's going to continue to cooperate with the police. And so it's just it's not looking good for him. But we're gonna move on, look at some more facts, and I'm gonna answer that question why I believe he hasn't been arrested yet. And if he does get arrested, what you guys think he should be charged with? Y'all comment below.
Welcome to TMZ Live. Big
I kind of watched some of this video before. I'm shooting my video, but watch y'all guys check this out. It's crazy. This teacher's spinning all the beans, but it is crazy.
developments in the case involving the singer David and the girl who was found dead in the trunk of his Tesla. Notably, we broke a lot of stories yesterday, but one of the big ones was we were able to talk to a teacher who taught Celeste Rivas and had a lot to say.
Yes, he opened up to his current class. Now, this teacher says he taught Celeste a couple of years ago when she was in middle school, but once he saw all the stories that we were breaking, he decided he wanted to share his information, his what happened when Celeste was in his class with his current class. So what you're about to see is the teacher doing a little show and tell with all he knows.
Okay, so with the teacher doing this show and tell, I'm hoping when it's time to testify for the trial that he's ready to tell the jury about this situation. And I hope he's doing this for the right reasons. That that the public should know what he has witnessed, prevent other kids from running away with adult rappers. So that's very dangerous what this young lady allegedly did in this situation. It's all alleged. But yes, I'm believe those some reason he may have done this.
About Celeste and David and how they met.
That's her in my classroom in front of this poster right here. She's been missing since I taught her. So when I taught her, she met this dude on social media. He was a rapper in LA. He came and got her. She ran away from home. She was gone for like a month. The cops found her in Hollywood, brought her back to our school. She came back to our school, kind of told people this story. She disappeared again in May of that year. And then I found out yesterday that she's now dead in that rapper's car, cut into pieces. You want to know how they met? I feel like I just said it. Social media.
I try to tell my kids all the time, be careful who you write on social media. Not social media, but when you're chatting online, playing games. It was wild back then when online gaming first came out when I was coming up. But man, it's just ridiculous now. You got, everybody heard about those grown ups be trying to get young kids on Roblox to join Discord, trying to meet up them with them. It's just wild. You just gotta be very careful out there. I tell my kid, hey, you can only text people that you know from at school. Like it's just ridiculous. So kids out there, I know most of my audience are grown. So any kid watching this or any parent like I am, please have that talk to the kid to be careful with who you're talking to online while you're playing these games or in Discord. Only talk to people you go to school with. That's the rule in our house.
So he said, it sounds like he was saying this, and we spoke to him, and it sounds like he was telling the class this almost as a cautionary tale about social media and going to social media. But in the process, it's interesting, he said she ran away in January, he came said, back, and then ran away again, or at least disappeared again.
And that tracks with what we had seen as far as missing a missing children's poster that we saw. There was one earlier in the year, and then there was the one in May of 2024.
And we did confirm, too, that he was, in fact, a teacher at her school at that time when she used to go to school in Lake Elsinore. He is no longer a teacher there. So when he was referring to, oh, you see this photo of her with the poster, that's the poster here. So it's not his current school. He's now teaching in a different district.
I think that's why the video went so viral, too, is it kind of came across like he was kind of.
I wonder how his new school feel about this video. Who knows? I also wonder if it is proven that the girl was with David while she was missing. Should he be charged with kidnapping? You know, some kind of other sexual charges. So that's another thing we'll talk about at the end of this video.
Like
Bragging a little
clout
bit,
chasing,
yeah.
being like, "Oh, look, she was in my class," but he cleared the air with
Well,
us.
honestly, we thought that when we saw the
Yeah, for
video,
sure.
that this
Yeah.
was it's
Right.
odd that this teacher was sort of
still-
bragging about his
I'm
connection.
still not
and
sure
then we
that-
talked to him to clear it up.
I'm still not sure that that's like a good conversation to have with your science middle school class. And that's why this was originally posted online, was because the students started filming him secretly because they're like, why are we having this conversation? But he felt like he wanted to tell his students to be wary on social media.
So there's a lot more to talk about.
It is a little weird to have that conversation, but I think it's a necessary conversation. But sometimes teachers go a little left sometimes. I remember we had one teacher who was very, very famous for talking about the situation her daughter was in. I think her daughter was allegedly, do do a lot of drills or something like that. Now, I remember having one teacher in college. She always talked about the divorce she was going through in class. So hey, it happens. It happens. So I'm not gonna come at this guy negative, this teacher, because he may have been done as a warning, which I think he did.
So we told you there was a search of the home that he appeared to have been staying in the Hollywood Hills. So we now find out that they were testing for blood. There's something called luminol, which can light up
Everyone's
a floor.
seen this on CSI.
Yeah.
That they spray it and it, allows them to see if there are traces of blood.
That's interesting. They searched his home looking for blood. They're trying to find evidence to give him, sounds like.
Even if it's been cleaned up.
So they were looking, on the floors. They were looking in drains to see if there were any traces of blood. We don't know what the results of the search were, but it's significant because the Tesla that contained her body in the trunk was parked nearby. And so it seems like their working theory is she might have been killed
If she were
in the house.
killed or dismembered in the house and then placed in that car and parked, a block and a half away.
Right. And we should say that the police have not named a suspect yet. The police have not named a person of interest yet, but that doesn't mean they don't have one. They got a search warrant, which means they clearly were able to show a judge that there was probable cause to believe a crime was committed. But the police have been playing this really close to the vest.
We also don't know what David's cooperation has been with cops. We were told early on he was cooperating with cops. Now it seems kind of unclear, but it is kind of interesting because
He's not talking to cops.
that's what we're hearing.
We now know, we've got it on pretty good authority. He's not talking to police.
I mean, honestly, I think it's a smart thing that, he's no longer talking to police. But once you realize you're a suspect, I would advise my client not to talk to the police. So it only makes sense.
What you think is maybe normal what an attorney would say to their client?
Of course.
I looked at it as if you have nothing to hide, why would you not go to cops?
You don't look at it that way.
Once now he knows they've searched his house. He knows what they were looking for in his house. Anything he says
is incriminating.
But it is interesting though that now they have finally announced that the tour dates he was supposed to perform in San Francisco. Is today the 19th?
Yeah, tonight,
and then
tomorrow.
No, it was tomorrow at the Greek in LA. Those have both been canceled, so he's not going to be performing.
Scrubbed from the Grammys.
Scrubbed from the Grammy Museum, which he was also supposed to have an appearance at next week.
And
he was supposed to be dropping a deluxe album with Interscope, who we now learned that they've pulled all that. So I mean, clearly he knows he has a.
The Interscope pulled from. So hey, it started. Hey, people find out, you're part of something that's very negative. Hey, find out who really with you and who really not. Because at the end of the day, people say they're with you, but they be for themselves. Understandably so. Business is business.
Going on.
Yeah, well,
it's not a good look to be on tour.
But the interesting thing is, the label is pulling all official promotion, and he's taken out of the Grammy Museum for this appearance. But there's still a lot of publicity around his name and his songs,
his streaming.
Well, that's not the only thing that's been pulled, though. We also reported this morning that those bloody shirts, the bloody clothing, that were a part of his act and a part of some.
That's the crazy part. Like, you got the song named Romantic Homicide, and now you got all these bloody shirts and shit. Like, I don't know. That's just stuff these artists do. So, hey, he's not the first one to do it, but hey, it don't look great. It's not enough to convict him, but it is, circumstantial.
Of his songs and the music videos, they're not available anymore.
Well, and it's interesting. The songs are, the titles of these songs are just
they're
violent, which, by the way,
they're
is
violent.
the word
streaming song for him right now.
Right.
Coincidence, but a creepy one.
So we also got, look, a lot of people are wondering, what was the relationship between this 15-year-old girl and this 20-year-old guy? And this goes back maybe to when she was even 13 and he was 18.
Right.
So we were able to get some video of the two of them together. So we've seen photos and now we've got video of
them on a live stream.
This is like I sent a few articles on my timeline, just on social media. But I seen this video, and this one really made me interested enough to talk to my wife. And oh, I need to make a YouTube video doing a legal analysis.
Where they're interacting with some of his fans. It's a short clip, and so it's hard to make out what they're talking about. But at one point, he does say to the moderators of the chat that we should make sure when this is done, don't leave it up. So I don't know what was being said during the chat because we've only seen that brief clip.
Well, she's pointing at some comments. I think people were making.
Why would you make the video? Why would you stream the video? When you put something on the internet, it's up there forever, especially if it's popular.
Comments, you can't tell which one she's pointing at, but clearly
he also don't know when this.
He didn't want this to be clipped and go out anyway.
So the way this works is, sometimes the LAPD will be really open about an investigation, and they'll kind of lay out what they've got. They'll hold a press conference. They have done they are holding this as close to the vest as just about any case I've ever seen.
And you're right, but it reminds me of the Brian Kohberger case where everybody was on the police saying, you are not giving us any information, you're bungling this case, and then they came out with a very airtight case, which resulted in no trial.
The difference with Kohberger is that with Kohberger, you didn't know anything about who may have done it. In this case, and I'm not saying he did because he is not a suspect yet, as far as we know, David, but people are looking at David. Right. So I think it's different.
Kohberger, we didn't know anybody at all.
Right. Anybody at all.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kamar from Atlanta. So my question would be, what else do they need to do to say, hey, he's now considered a suspect? Because we see the video, we've seen everything on social media, and then the teacher even did it. And
he's not a suspect unless they can tie him to the woman in the trunk and say he did it. Right. That's when he becomes a suspect.
The car was registered in his name, and I'm not saying
not enough.
That doesn't mean that
somebody else could have put the body in.
Okay, she just asked that same question. Oh man, I kind of want to watch one more video just to look into it. And you know what? I guess I'll go ahead and answer the question. And so we may have enough facts right now. So this guy, I believe he hasn't been arrested yet because, like what they said on TMZ, it's obvious they're still trying to collect evidence, direct evidence, or enough circumstantial evidence to tie him to this murder, However, they just haven't done it yet. They might not need super direct evidence to arrest him, but they need enough probable cause. They just don't have enough finding him in the trunk. I think it would be enough, but it's not enough yet. And so they look for a murder weapon. How was he killed? Her body's dismembered. They don't know how she was killed. They don't know how she was cut up. He may have had a good explanation why she may have been in the vehicle. And, we just don't know what he did say to the police, when he did cooperate before he stopped cooperating. It's quite clear they just don't have enough evidence at this point. And I think they're gonna need to find out the murder weapon, how she was murdered. They're probably gonna need a couple witnesses to come forward to talk about. They're gonna have to track his day leading up, to where he was when. They don't know what day she was murdered. that's a big gap, you know. It could have been she could have ran out one of his friends and threw it in the trunk. And you know, he didn't know nothing about it. So he's not the murderer. He didn't know nothing about it. His friend could have put him in the trunk. The friend could be the murderer. So many things that it ain't close enough to tie him to it yet. Even though it just seems so obvious. On one hand, it seems so obvious, but on the other hand, just not enough circumstantial evidence, definitely not enough direct evidence to get this man for to get no proper cause to charge him with this murder. I just think, you know, in most murders, you at least know when the victim passed away. You don't know that here. You know how she died. We don't know how she died. It wasn't a gunshot. It wasn't, you know, a stabbing. Her body's decomposed, unfortunately. Maybe a further autopsy may show how she died. You know, we just don't know. She could have OD'd over something and somebody put her body in it. And he never even killed her, you know. And he may be charged something less for not, you know, reporting her to the police or something. They may get him more on kidnapping charges or something like that versus murder at this point, you know. You can't even get him on sexual assault because we don't know if he assaulted her yet. And so it's a lot of ifs. The defense lawyers, I don't know who he has for a defense lawyer, but they got some angles they can work. Because you got to remember, to win a criminal case, it has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. It can't be no doubt that he killed this person. And there's just so many holes in this case that usually you have enough circumstantial evidence to arrest somebody for probable cause. There's not even enough circumstantial evidence. They probably need to check, they already checked his house, they need to check other vehicles for, you know, some blood stains. They need to check all his phones. They got no reasonable suspicion and probable cause to search his vehicle. I'm sure they can get it for his phones. They can get it for his computer. It's got to be some evidence somewhere that puts some kind of circumstantial evidence near her around the time she died. And, you know, so we just need more evidence. So that's the answer. I know it's not some big, I gotcha. But we need more evidence. Normally, circumstantial evidence would be enough, but it's not even enough in this case because we don't know when she died. I know I keep repeating the same thing over. I'm just being real with you guys. We don't know when she died. We don't know how she died. You know, it could be so many different reasons for how she could have gotten that car. I don't think he had said, I don't know how she got my car. I haven't had that car in a long time. I sold that car. I guess the new people never registered my name. You know, or he could be like, she stole my car. And he may got some proof of her run away with the car and never bringing it back, you know. He could have stole his car and some random people on the street killed her, you know, and left her in the car. It's so many different things out there, and we just need more evidence. I think for the police to win this case, and find out, you know, where David was the day of the murder, after they find out the day of the murder and find out how she passed away. And so, those are my initial thoughts. This is another case we're going to be keeping up with. Let me know in the comments what you guys think the police need to find, need to prove to charge him for murder, to arrest him. They're obviously trying to, but they don't have enough yet. Okay, thank you guys for watching this video. I will see y'all on the next one. I'm attorney Dwayne Hobson. I'm attorney in Mississippi. If you guys need a lawyer, reach out to Hobson Law Group. I do car accidents, slip and falls, do a lot of state law now. Been getting a lot of those cases lately. And subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to grow this channel, trying to get this thing bigger. Almost got 1,000 subscribers, so help your boy out. Thank you guys, and I will see you on the next one.